Rain battered the high-arched windows of Whitcomb and Sons Solicitors just off Fleet Street. The storm outside was a fitting prelude to what awaited within, the reading of Lord Alistair Whitcomb's will. 5 strangers sat in a dark paneled room, lit only by the flicker of a fireplace and the dimmed glow of a green glass banker's lamp. The air tasted of damp paper, legal dust, and old secrets. A mahogany desk separated them from a tall, angular man in a pinstripe suit. Mr. Horace Crowthorne, executor of Lord Whitcomb's estate. "Thank you for coming," he began. "You may not know each other, but each of you has been summoned here for a singular purpose. Lord Whitcomb has named you as conditional heirs in his final testament." There was a collective pause. Clarissa Bloom, impeccably dressed and gloved, raised an eyebrow. Arthur Fenley, the aged professor with a scholar's frown, muttered, "Conditional?" Crowthorne nodded solemnly. Before any inheritance can be granted, a series of tasks must be completed. These were Lord Whitcomb's explicit instructions. The first begins tonight. In the corner, half hidden by shadows, stood Isabelle Hart. Once a high-ranking detective inspector, now a private investigator with an eye for the twisted and the uncanny. She had been hired by an anonymous party to oversee the will's execution. She was not a believer in coincidence. "What sort of tasks?" asked Omar Patel, the young activist in a threadbare coat, visibly irritated. Crowthorne produced a thick envelope sealed with wax. "This is the first testament. It contains a riddle, a location, and a key. Should the group fail to solve it by dawn, the inheritance will be revoked." Simon Trent, a flamboyant antiques dealer with mismatched socks and a silk cravat, leaned forward eagerly. "And if we do solve it?" "Then one layer of Lord Whitcomb's estate is unlocked. There are more, many more." "Sounds like a game," said Marion Wells quietly, the timid woman in a gray shawl. Her eyes darted around the room. "But I don't like games." Hart narrowed her eyes. This was no ordinary will. Clarissa read aloud from the parchment. "Where silence first took root and whispers never fade, beneath the gaze of morning stone, lies the key to secrets made." Arthur adjusted his glasses. "That sounds like a cemetery." "There's a family plot behind the Whitcomb estate," Clarissa murmured. "I saw it once, hidden by ivy and time." They arrived at Whitcomb Manor as the storm intensified. The house stood like a mausoleum, its once grand facade decaying, ivy coiled like veins across its stone walls. A marble griffin perched atop the wrought-iron gates watched them pass with lifeless eyes. Inside, dust blanketed everything. The air was cold, unmoving. Faded portraits watched them from the walls like voyeurs. A grandfather clock ticked, slow and uneven. Each heir began their search, drawn by different instincts. Simon examined paintings, looking for hidden compartments. He muttered about symbolism, brushstrokes, and coded signatures. Omar, unwilling to play along, wandered the grounds and found the cemetery. There he lit a cigarette in the shadow of a crumbling angel statue. Clarissa descended into the wine cellar, following the sound of dripping water. She paused before an old bottle labeled 1967 BALO. A coincidence? Arthur stayed in the library, tracing family history in brittle volumes. He whispered names under his breath like they were incantations. Marion Wells, quiet and observant, explored the old servant quarters. She found a nursery filled with dusty dolls and a broken music box playing a warped lullaby. Hart moved between them, noting everything. And everyone. Omar shouted. They all rushed to the cemetery, where an ancient headstone had toppled, revealing a rusted metal box buried beneath. Inside, a key and a note. The first truth is buried. Let the willing proceed. Later that night, Arthur was found dead in the study. He was slumped over the desk, eyes open, a look of surprise frozen on his face. A single page of notes had been torn and half burnt in the fireplace. The initial assessment? Heart attack. Hart wasn't convinced. The desk clock was 20 minutes slow, but Arthur's watch had stopped precisely at 9:47. There were fresh scratches on the inside of the study door, as if someone had tried to lock it from within, or break out. And in the pocket of Arthur's waistcoat, Hart found a small wax seal, broken and faded. The imprint, an unfamiliar sigil. It wasn't natural, not an accident. Arthur knew something. Maybe he solved part of the riddle. Maybe he was silenced. The wax seal matches a symbol I've never seen. Latin inscription, Societas Ultima Testamentum. The Final Testament Society? What the hell is this? Back in her hotel room, Hart laid out the clues. The riddle, the key, the wax seal, the rushed nature of the will. She opened her laptop. One file recovered from Arthur's USB stick, widowgame.x password protected. She tried one guess, BALO1967, access granted. A list of names appeared, and dates, each marked with a red X, except the last one. Clarissa Bloom. Hart looked up, eyes narrowed. One down, she whispered, and someone wants there to be more. To be continued. Like if the mystery pulled you in. Comment with your theories. Who do you trust? Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. Follow to keep uncovering the truth, piece by piece.